Hey guys, how are you doing? Today is July 25, Friday. Um, we've been so far talking about Tesla, right? And the performance of Tesla just few days before was really bad, right? And the thing is that there is no catalyst in the short run for Tesla, right? A lot of supporters for Elon, right, is waiting for the catalyst, right? There are some catalysts before, but as time goes by, I think the supporters waited for too long, right? Like the auto driving, robot tax, then once there was there and then it's not running good and then silent, right? And then they are looking forward to the Optimus, and they are looking forward for the Neuralink, and then they are looking forward for the spacecraft, right? But all those catalysts then the supporters are waiting for, it seems not working, right? They're not working, and they've been waiting for so long. So actually, I think that this year the drop of Tesla's stock price for I think it's 18% plus recently 8% is more than 26% already this year, right? That is little stock disaster, right? We should look into that, right? And then if there is no catalyst in the short run for Tesla, then it's dangerous. And then the automotive business been doing very bad, right? We can take a look on the performance, then it's very bad. Just like no good points for Tesla business, right? We'll take a look on that, right? Okay, our Falcon portfolio been 78 months already. That means about more than 6 years. And our performance is not bad, 137%. I'll show you in a minute. So for any of you have any questions, then you can leave your questions under the YouTube, or you can directly email to me by Usstockmarketweekly@gmail.com. This is our cover, right? Tesla, no catalyst in the short run. We'll talk about that in a minute. Yesterday, Dow Jones dropped at 300 points, right? Mostly because of the tariff, right? Still negotiating with EU and then waiting for the meeting with China, right? Waiting for the meeting with China. So a lot of things are still under negotiation, right? So that's that. Better side for Nasdaq, right? Rised just a little bit, 37 points. We come back to Falcon 350,000 portfolio, right? Actually, this portfolio been 6.5 years, 6.5 years, 78 months, right? And the point is that, right, we start and then we earned it 1.37 times. And that means our compound increment per year is about 15%. You can calculate, right? Use the 350,000 every year, then you time up 1.15, 1.15, 1.15. Then you will achieve a figure is something like 830,000, something like that, right? That is what we call a compound increment, right? That means actually we can do that, right? Without doing a lot of things per year, right? We just study and hold the stock, and if some of the stock are really bad, right, we get rid of that, right? But if some of stock are good and cheap, and then we increase our bet. That's what we did in the past 6 years. You can see that we still have a lot of cash, right? Seems we never touched that, right? We have about 230,000 US dollar. That means nearly a lot of the capital we haven't touched it, right? And for some of the dividend, I still not add them in, right? So that is the investment idea, right? I just want to show you that what is an investment is like that, right? Simple. You don't need to do a lot of things. You hold some good stocks, right? Let the time work for you. And this year we are not doing very good, but we still have 6%, right? We go through some headlines first, right? And Trump sparks with Powell. He expressed that he not going to fire Powell. That is about the authority. He doesn't have that, right? But he wants to use some excuse on renovation of the Fed, right? And let Powell resign himself. All of them can see it, all right? So let's cross our fingers and wait. About Microsoft, right? Then that we know that in this year, cut 15,000 employees, right? Not a small number, right? 1 week before, then another 9,000 people may be laid off, right? And then after that, and replaced by the AI, Microsoft stock price is over 510 something already, right? So that means AI really did something, replacing people, right? Be aware of that. Finally, Intel did some good jobs, right? And that is because the CEO, Lip-Bu, cut the construction in the chip factory, right? She should never did this for the chip factory. That is the disaster for Intel, right? And then Intel stock been pumped by 60% in last year, and this year up 13, but still a long way for her to go. She should not do this at the very beginning, as I said before. No more bank checks, right? No more bank checks, right? Another news on Tesla, right? Tesla then pumped another 8%, right? For auto sales. Auto means automotive. Then we'll come to that. Finally, ECB stopped reducing the interest rate because now she only has 2%. And US has 4.5%, right? Because ECB been cutting the interest rate for 10 times already, right? So she should hold at 2%, right? And now should be US turn, right? Okay, we come to Tesla. No need to wait for earning call. We have it already, right? We can see that at the earlier of this year, then Tesla reached the peak of the stock price and then goes down straight away, right? The peak is 488 and now is just a little bit more than 305, right? With a terrible PE 176, right? That is terrible for automotive, right? And for past 1 year, the stock price still rose by 38.62%, but in the past 6 months, the stock it decreased by 23%, right? I think now it's 26% already. And one thing is very terrible for Tesla is in the whole world, in the US, Canada, Europe, China, the market share of Tesla been dropped significantly, especially in Europe. Right? See that in Europe, the red lines, and then US and Canada, and then China, all of them are dropping. Right? In Europe, it's because of the tariff. In China, it's because of policy, right? And in US, maybe also because of the policy, because of Dutch department, right? For the gross profit for Q2 of this year, you can see that's still okay, right? Not very bad, but no increment. But for energy storage deployment, that means charging of the automotive, right? No increment at all. That is terrible. It's about the gross margin of Tesla, and that is most updated to second quarter of this year. See that for the energy, that means for charging, then she's still keeping gross margin 30%, right? I think that's okay, right? But for the automotive, gross margin only 17.2%, and the service and the others is just 5.4% for the gross margin, right? How can you earn the money, right? You can see that the gross margin of automotive for Tesla has been dropping so far since these few years, since 2022, and drop, then drop and further drop. That is Magnificent 7. We can see the purple color is Tesla, and she performs most bad among the 7, right? You can see that my red around is the purple one, performs most bad, most worse among the 7, right? And the best one is Meta, right? That means Facebook, and then is Amazon. For the Q2 earning, right, the earnings per share is just 40 cents. 40 cents, right? For a stock price of over 300, the earnings per share is just 40 cents, right? And the revenue decreased by 11.78%, right, compared to 1 year before. And you can see I put a very big clause among the performance. I never saw a performance bad like that. See that, right? And that is the most right hand part, right? That is the 2025 Q2. And then there is the YOY, that means year over year. Compare with the most left hand side one. That means second quarter, compare with second quarter but 1 year before, right? Simple. We can see that automotive revenue dropped 16%, charging dropped 7%, and only the service increased by 17%, but that is the smallest amount, right? And make up the total revenue dropped 12%, gross profit dropped 15%, and even the adjusted, not the EBITDA, is the adjusted EBITDA, dropped 7%. Net income before adjustment dropped 16%, but after adjustment, non-GAAP dropped 23%, right? And the earnings per share diluted but before adjustment dropped 18%, and if adjusted dropped 23%. Net cash provided by operating activity dropped 30%, free cash flow dropped by 89%, right? So that is the worst performance I ever saw in Tesla. Everything drops, right? So I put a very big red cross on top of that. Totally no use, right? And there is an explanation, right, for revenue decline and in vehicle delivery, right? Tariff cut by the government, subsidized, blah, 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 something like that, right? We all know that, right? But not as bad as like that, right? That is very bad, really bad, right? So we can see that for the forward PE is even larger than now. 178 is 186 because this quarter is a loss, right? This quarter is a loss. And there is the supporters waited too long for the auto driving, for the robot tax, for the Optimus, for the spacecraft, for the Neuralink, right? They waited so long, but nothing happened, right? So no further catalyst. But the tariff, the relationship of Tesla with the government, and the Tesla selling in Europe, in Canada, in US, in China, all market share are dropping. All of them are dropping. And actually, Elon just said that there will be beta for coming few quarters, not for few months. That means maybe in the full year of 2025, or even in the early of 2026, the performance of Tesla will be bad. Until we see something on the Optimus, I do not have any hope for the automotive already, because you can see all the automotive on the street, right? We want to see the auto driving, want to see the robot tax can earn money, like the Rainbow, right? We want to see some Optimus can be used in the factory or in our daily life. When Neuralink can help in the health system, in the surgery, and spacecraft, right, can help for the military technology. But all of them seems stuck there, no progress, right? So I keeping my belief is then if you still holding Tesla, you should not, right? You should not, right? And should not buy it, right? Don't think that there is a dip, right? We should look forward, right? What she can bring to us, right? Seems then we waited for so long, right? The supporters wait for 1 year, 1 year, and 1 year, right? And nothing happened. We know that those kind of technology takes time. We don't know, right? Lucky then in our era there is Steve Jobs, right? Lucky. There's Steve Jobs, and Steve Jobs did a good job, right? And also with the internet, right? Go to 4G, remember that? 5G, and then now you're stepping into 6G or 7G, right? But how about automotive? How about the auto driving? Not easy, right? Neuralink, not easy. Optimus, not easy. Especially then you can make a prototype, but how to make it into our daily life, right? But AI now is stepping into our daily life, right? But Tesla doesn't have AI, right? So that's my comment, no change, right? You should stay away from this stock, right? This is my summary. Okay, thanks guys for watching, and like, comment, share, and subscribe are welcome. So thanks for watching, and I hope everyone have a very peaceful weekend. See you guys on next Friday. Bye bye.